5 on Your Sideline is sponsored by Stricker Nobi John Deere.
There are dreams to be realized this weekend in Columbia, Missouri. Welcome into 5 on Your Sideline. I'm Corey Miller, and this is it. Our last week on the high school football gridiron, and we have some fantastic storylines with teams chasing championships. So let's get right to it with today's title games. First up, Francis Howell. The Vikings have built one of the best programs around, but they're still looking for that elusive first championship. And this team has looked to be one to make that happen. They're 13-0 and have been outscoring their opponents by an average of more than 25 points a game. And you better believe everybody is on board for this historic season.
Just to see what people were doing in the community at the local Frankie Martin's place in Cottleville and some of the local bars and restaurants supporting us and having showings, it's pretty cool. We want to get it done for this community.
So let's go to Como. Howell and Fort Osage for the Class 5 title tonight. And you know the Vikings fans traveled well. Howell's up 21-7 already, and Viking quarterback Adam Shipley does what he does best. He keeps it himself and bursts through the defense for a score. And he can throw it too. It's coming up. Here he finds his Mizzou commit tight end Brett Norfleet, who should get used to scoring at Faroe Field. Howell dominates the whole way. They win 49-21 and finally bring home that state championship trophy. Congrats to the Vikings on an undefeated season. Our other state championship game today pitted two of our local schools against each other. In Class 4, St. Mary's was trying to go back-to-back. St. Dominic was in their first state title game ever. And both teams had long journeys this season to even get to this point.
Once you taste it, and we had so many guys that played for 3 and 4 years of football since they've been here. So they're more experienced and they understand that it's, you know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
We just got a lot more positive with it, understood the talent that we had, and if we started paying attention to details better, we could put ourselves in this position.
So back to Como we go. Dragons and Crusaders matching up at Faroe Field, and those Dragons stayed dominant. This was a fourth down play where David Leonard finds Chase Hendricks in the end zone, and Hendricks makes a great catch to start off the scoring. Now here's a guy who could be doing a lot of scoring at Mizzou in the future, and he did it today too. Tiger commit Jamal Roberts, he is a freight train and breaks that run off for another score, and it is St. Mary's who goes back-to-back. They win the Class 4 state title over St. Dominic 42-0. Congrats to the Crusaders as well for their historic year. Howell and St. Dominic aren't the only programs trying to get that first ever state championship this weekend. In Class 3, Cardinal Ritter has a shot tomorrow to bring home their first football state title. And the Lions are visualizing walking off the field holding that trophy.
I feel as though it would be an awesome memory and an awesome just stepping stool for me to go in college, just have a bar set for me already, know what winning is and what a winning championship feel like.
Being a part of the first state championship this school will ever have, that would be great for, you know, not only just me, but for the program as a whole, because that'll just bring more guys that want to come play for Cardinal Ritter, you know, in the future.
With just one local football game left tomorrow, I thought tonight was a good time to look back. We've had some tremendous highlights showcased here on 5 on Your Sideline this year, but who had the best that we were able to capture? Well, I tried to count them down with my top 10 plays of the year. At 10, it wasn't his longest run of the year, but it's the one that brought the boom. That's St. Mary's Jamal Roberts for 6. Number 9, this pretty pass from Vianney's Caden Wood right into Coladare's hands in the end zone. Number 8 is in Illinois. East St. Louis and Robert Pops battle to Justin Price for the foot-in finish TD. For number 7, we go to Kirkwood, where my buddy Ahmad Hicks always used to say, "What can Brown do for you?" Here Deion Brown runs all over the field for this crazy score. Number 6 goes back to St. Mary's, where David Leonard lofts it up and Chase Hendricks brings it down. That's a dynamic duo. Number 5, you know we had a Jeremiah Love highlight in here. This one sees him take this pass from Cole McKee and hit pay dirt. Number 4 is a wild catch from Marquette. Jack Albrand throws it up, and Gavin March goes full extension for the touchdown. Wow. Number 3 will make you tired. Howell's Adam Shipley gets the high snap, jukes out the entire defense, and runs it all the way in for the long score. Number 2 is just a lot of fun. Parkway West Brett Ottensmeyer puts it up, it goes off a defender, and ends up in Jack Getty's hands, who takes it to the house. And number 1 goes to number 1. SLU's Ryan Wingo is deadly on the punt return, and he proves why here. Takes this ball and then takes on the entire defense all over the field on his way to the most impressive score of the season. My goodness. Now that we're turning the page on football, it is hoop season. We'll bring you the best of the hardwood every Friday night, and we kick things off with a couple of games tonight. First up, Lutheran St. Charles visiting Vianney, and the Griffins have a freshman you need to know. This is 7'3" Simon Guy, and as you may expect, he can block some shots like that rejection right there. He won't block this next one, though. It's going to be a jam on the fast break from Demetrius Phillips. That helped Lutheran St. Charles get the win, 82-70 over Vianney. MICDS and Westminster in the MICDS Tip-Off Tournament Championship. Westminster on the fast break, and it's Kobe Williams finishing off nicely at the rim. Later on, it's going to be Marcus Coleman for MICDS, who misses the three, but smartly follows his shot, puts it back in. Nice fundamentals there. MICDS won the game and the championship 52-35. Coming up, I'll have the story of some more local athletes. Only this trio is competing against some of the best in the entire world. Think about what it would be like to be one of the best in the world at something, anything. Well, for a trio of local wheelchair rugby players, they don't have to imagine it all. The tools of the trade may look a bit different than other sports you're used to, but the bumps and bruises acquired on the wheelchair rugby court are second to none.
I've had to have surgery on my thumb to get that put back together. Had a few pins in there. Torn labrum in my shoulder, chip fractures in my elbows. I blew my kneecap off once, missing a tooth on this side.
Having an opportunity to show people that just because we have a disability doesn't mean we're fragile. We're going out there competing just as any athlete would.
Jack, you're inbound, and Kai, you're with me.
And St. Louis is turning into a wheelchair rugby hotbed. This trio of St. Louis's Sarah Adam, Godfrey's Eric Newby, and Freeburg's Jake Daly just got back from a trip to Denmark with the U.S. national team. They returned with silver medals at the Wheelchair Rugby World Championships.
It's pretty crazy, and honestly, when you're working out at home and stuff on your own, you don't really think about it. And then when those big events finish, and you're like, oh man, I got a silver medal. It stings at first, and then you're like, okay, I'm second in the world at something. It's still pretty awesome.
We see that pick.
And as you may have already suspected, this bond goes far beyond the court. Wheelchair rugby has helped player after player adapt to their new circumstances.
Started playing right after I broke my neck, and it was just, at that time, a cool way to get some exercise and hang out with other people in wheelchairs and just kind of learn a little bit more about this new life. Learning about different ways to manage aspects of your life, how to get in and out of a car, how to, make a trip to the bathroom more efficient, how to take a shower in a hotel room that's not accessible, how to just get over a lot of obstacles that life throws at you. My first year on the team, people walked me through how to get a vehicle adapted, how to get back into school. I mean, just countless things that have been given to me through this sport.
When I first started playing, I was 18. I had just gotten hurt the night of high school graduation, and I was kind of lost, and I came here, and it turned into a room of just friends in similar situations. Get off that, get off that.
Wheelchair rugby has given these athletes friendships and memories to last a lifetime. But like any sport, there's always that next goal. And the 2024 Paralympics in France are circled on the calendar.
I'd say for me it's continuing to build relationships and meet new people, and obviously a gold medal in Paris would be pretty great. Don't be content. If you get a snag on him, make sure you can get off. Keep working.
And as we're shifting to hoops on the high school level, we do the same on the college level as well. And the Illini had another early season test tonight against a fellow ranked opponent. Brad Underwood in Illinois on the road at number 22 Maryland tonight, and this was close all the way, so let's go right to the end. Coleman Hawkins hits the floater in the lane. That made it a 1-point game as time winds down, but the Terps would close it out in emphatic fashion with that three right there. Maryland wins 71-66 and have now beat Illinois and SLU on the season. The Blues will try to get back on track tomorrow against Pittsburgh after Thursday's loss to the Hurricanes. The Blues gave up 3 goals in just over a minute in the second period last night and lost the game 6-4. Now Coach Berube is calling on his guys to step up.
Vladdy, one of those guys, Barbie. I mean, yeah, I don't want to single out anybody.
Yeah,
but
I mean, they got to play better. That's for sure. So you know, there's not just them, but we have a few guys that have to step up and play better hockey for sure. That's the bottom line. We need them to play well. Need them to work and compete and play at a high level.
Blues in action tomorrow in Pittsburgh. We got USA Soccer in the morning, and like I already mentioned, Cardinal Ritter going for the state championship at Columbia. So big day. You want to be right here on 5 on Your Side. That'll do it tonight for 5 on Your Sideline. I'm Corey Miller. Have a great weekend, St. Louis.
5 on Your Sideline was sponsored by Sideline Stricker Nobi John Deere.